Good morning, I am Jared Brossman.
And I'm Mikey Marquez.
And this is Channel 5 News.
Today we'll be covering Period 3, the post-classical period.
Now to Ethan and the scandalous Byzantine Empire.
As Western Rome falls to Germanic invaders in 476, the Byzantine Empire continues to grow and prosper. Its capital, Constantinople, becomes a cultural center of Eastern Europe. Located on the Bosphorus Strait, the geographical location makes it easy to protect. On a peninsula with 3 natural barriers of water, its huge walls keeps invaders out. Being right on the Bosphorus Strait makes it a trading center and helps it become wealthy. Now to the interview with Justinian. Hi, I'm here with Justinian. Justinian, tell me how you plan on ruling your empire.
I plan on ruling my empire by reconquering the lost western half of the Roman Empire.
Wow, how do you plan on doing this?
I plan on doing this by making a code of laws called I call it the Justinian Code. It's previous Roman laws that I'm creating into one document.
Wow, and I hear you're building a building.
Yeah, it's called the Hagia Sophia. I'm building it to unify my people under one religion, and that is Orthodox Christianity.
Okay, back to you.
Wow, Ethan. Justinian was a great guy.
It sure is a shame that they are in constant siege by the Slavs, Turks, and Muslims for their wealth.
I really do hope his law codes unite all his people, and that Hagia Sophia, I hope it unifies under one religion.
It really is a beautiful building, isn't it, Mikey?
It's totally exotic.
Now to Noah in the Middle East.
In the Middle East at this time, Islam was being heavily spread throughout the region because Islam treated people who they conquered very well, the success of their military, and Muslims were united under the same goal. And finally, the message of Islam was preached was very influential and people loved it.
Thank you, Noah, for the wonderful wisdom of Islam.
It really spread like wildfire after Muhammad founded it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was such a unifying force. And
now to a commercial break.
Today we got a deal for you. Today I'm introducing the camel saddle. It makes riding easier, riding, sleeping for the Mongols. With this easy clip-on, click-off technology, it makes it 100% faster. And you can ride forwards, ride backwards, ride sideways, ride upside down in this great technology, which is only $19.99.
Now back from commercial break after looking at that camel saddle. Wow, Mikey, really is something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'll purchase one.
I think it'll suit my camel needs.
Yes, totally agree.
Mikey, you look a little pale.
Oh, it's just because it's cold outside, and I got new glasses.
Understandable.
Okay, now to Brendan in East Asia.
During the Tang Dynasty, Emperor Tang Xizong developed roads and canals, including the Silk Roads. Due to the explosion of trade along these Silk Roads, Buddhism was spread along these. Buddhism came from India. And with the Tang instating tributary states like Korea and Vietnam, new technologies exploded. One of these technologies was Champa rice, which linked China and Vietnam. Champa rice was a main technology that was spread along the Silk Roads. Now back to Jared and Mikey.
Thank you, Brendan, for enlightening us on Champa rice. That really was something.
It really was a special thing.
Champa rice is quite a harvest.
Now to Jared in the Western Empire. The Roman Empire broke down in 476 CE. A period of chaos was known as the Middle Ages. Split into 2 parts, the Dark Ages and the High Middle Ages, it included the Renaissance. King Clovis established the first capital in Paris and united the Frankish tribes. He was also appointed the first Roman Catholic ruler of the Franks. Charles Martel was a military leader of the Franks and defeated the Muslims at the Battle of Tours, which stopped Muslim expansion into Western Europe. Rome fell due to a string of invasions, including the Vikings. They traveled on long ships, which allowed them to travel farther inland and attack their enemies easier. Third and last invaders were the Magyars. They encroached on the Byzantine Empire and later settled in present-day German, Italy, and France.
Thank you, Jared. It was a very long but informational segment.
Now to Ethan on the second visit to Eastern Europe.
Hi, I'm back in the Byzantine Empire, where we are sending missionaries to convert the new people called the Kievan Rus to Orthodox Christianity. We send one such missionary named Cyril, who creates his own alphabet called the Cyrillic alphabet. We are also under attack, especially Constantinople, by foreign invaders. And during the Fourth Crusade, Constantinople was captured in 1204, a blow which we will never fully recover from. Now back to you, Jared.
Thank you, Ethan, for telling us about your second visit to Eastern Europe.
Now we're going to go see Noah on his second visit in the Middle East.
After Muhammad's death in 632, a group called the Umayyads came to power and ruled the empire that reached far west into Africa and far east into India. That lasted 90 years. But at the end of the 90 years, at 750, Damascus fell to a group called the Abbasids, who took advantage of the corrupt and weakened empire of the Abbasids, or the Umayyads, sorry. And the Abbasids took over and they moved the capital to Baghdad, and that started the golden age of Islam. Baghdad was the ideal location for trans-Eurasian trade and was a center of learning. Back to you, Jared and Mikey.
Thanks, Noah, for informing us on the Abbasid Empire.
Now, another commercial break.
Gunpowder!
Gunpowder, invented by Chinese alchemists. It spread through the Silk Road and it was a new Chinese technology.
It was used for military and fireworks.
Oh! As you can see, it lightens up the life. Fireworks, military technology.
Yep. And it's really fun!
Later on, it'll be used for making guns. Fireworks like these make Chinese New Year
Possible.
You can buy your gunpowder at your nearest Chinese merchant.
Welcome back from the commercial break about gunpowder. Mikey's indisposed Noah from some bad Chinese food, but now we go to Brendan in China.
The Yuan dynasty was the rule established by the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan was the ruthless leader that conquered most of Asia for a small period of time. But during that time, he preserved the Silk Roads and worked on gaining the most power he could possibly gain. Later on, Kublai Khan, one of the grandsons of Genghis Khan, was the leader of the Golden Horde, or the army that ransacked Russia. Kublai Khan was the leader that established the Yuan dynasty and the leader that started the spread of the Black Plague throughout Asia and Europe. Now back to Jared and Mikey.
Thank you, Brendan, for your segment on Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, and the Yuan dynasty.
Now do a one-on-one interview with the man himself, Genghis Khan.
I'm here with Genghis Khan, the man himself. Genghis, how are you able to control your vast, diverse empire?
Thanks for asking, Mikey. Well, I was able to be a leader because I favor power, control, and loyalty above anything else.
Great answer. I see that you favored and revived trade routes. How did you do this?
I protected the Silk Road. I established knights and guards to protect it and allow trade to prosper.
Very great method. I like that.
I like it too, Mikey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your leadership resulted in the Mongol peace, Pax Mongolica. You're a great leader.
Thank you very much.
Back to you.
Thank you, Mikey, for that interview with the ruthless war leader Genghis Khan. Now to Jared with Western Europe. The High Middle Ages, also known as the Renaissance, was first introduced with the Christian Crusades, which were called by Pope Urban II, to retake the Holy Land of Jerusalem. The first crusade was won by the Christians, but quickly fell to Muslim forces under the rule of Saladin. The effects of the Crusades were quite significant. It heavily increased trade and dispersion of knowledge. It also spread the Black Death, which killed nearly 1/3 of the European population. One of the most notable historic events was the Renaissance. It focused on the revival of literature and the arts. It also touched on humanism, which is the focus on individuals, not gods. The agricultural surplus of the Renaissance also increased the population. Technological advancements include windmills and heavier plows drawn by oxen. Back to you, Jared.
Thank you, Jared, for the once again long but informational segment on Western Europe.
Now to an interview with Marco Polo.
I'm here with journeyman Marco Polo, who traveled from Europe to Asia. How were you able to travel?
I was able to travel via the Silk Roads, and it was really safe and reliable.
What did you see in China?
I visited Kublai Khan and the Yuan dynasty.
How was it?
China was very peaceful, and it was really advanced, more advanced than Europe at that time. And you can read about my travels in my book, Travels of Marco Polo.
Okay, Mr. Polo. I've got a copy of your book that I'm reading. One excerpt says that you visited the palace of the Great Khan. What was so significant?
It was the greatest palace I've ever seen. It was full of precious metals, and it was very extravagant.
Ooh. Thank you, Mr. Polo. Back to you, Jared. Thank you, Mr. Polo, for the amazing interview.
Now for a quick Period 3 recap with the man himself, Michael Marquez.
Thank you, Jared. I will be covering the changes and continuities within the regions. The first one is East Asia. One change is that Tang was more peaceful than the Yuan dynasty because Tang was the golden age. And one continuity is the Silk Roads were both protected and important. Another continuity and change is one in Western Europe. The continuity in Western Europe is the religion of Christianity. It stayed constant throughout the time period. One change is the revival of education. From the Dark and Renaissance periods, the Dark Ages, education was very minimal, but it was revived during the Renaissance. Another continuity and change is in Eastern Europe. One change is the ties with new people, such as the Kiev Rus. Another continuity is that Constantinople, which is right over here, is constantly still being invaded. The last continuity and change is in the Middle East, over here. One change is that the capital was moved from Damascus to Baghdad during the empire changes. One continuity is that Abbasid and Umayyad both had Islam as their main religion. A comparison of two regions is Eastern Europe and Western Europe. A similarity is that they're both part of Europe, and a difference is that Western Europe has a religion of Roman Catholicism, and Eastern Europe has a religion of Eastern Orthodox that developed during the Great Schism. Another comparison of two regions is the Middle East and East Asia. One similarity is that they're both connected through the Silk Roads, but the difference is that the religion in the Middle East is Islam, and the philosophy in East Asia was Buddhism and Confucianism.
Thank you, Mikey, for reviewing all that with us.
No
and
problem.
from everyone here at Channel 5 News, we thank you for watching and have a good day.